Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. If you hear the fan, it is hot. Whenever you guys hear it, it is way too hot. So today we actually have kind of something different. I had this plan and I was like, I'm gonna do it because I feel like it's gonna be something a little bit different from the channel. I kind of want to do a few different things, so that's why I'm doing it. I actually don't know when I'm going to upload this. I do know it's gonna be a Saturday, but I don't know which Saturday. This one is actually talking about books. Now, I do love reading. I have been getting probably way too many. So this video is actually going to be me talking about some of my favorite books and some books that I read that I'm not a huge fan of last year in 2023. So I thought this would be something fun. It will be late because January is already ending. I should probably have done this at the beginning of January, but I don't care. I'm doing it now because I thought of it not too long ago when I was kind of brainstorming about new things to do on the channel. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So I picked 5 books for books that I absolutely loved, 5 books for the ones that I wasn't a huge fan of. Now, there's some of this that are series, so I'm counting it as one. And this happened on both good and bad ones. So it's one. It's a series, but it's one. And I try to keep it as different stuff. There's definitely books that I left out that I absolutely love. But if I added them, it will be everything romance. And I kind of wanted different things. So we're going to start with the ones that I like. And I have them here with me. So the first one, this one, it is called Murder in the Family by Kara Hunter, and this, I absolutely loved it. I saw this first on TikTok and I saved the video because it was a concept that I have never seen on a book, and usually books are, I'm gonna show this one, but I like that, like paragraphs and stuff. This one isn't. This one, it is rolled like this. It is, and there's like images and stuff. Let me see if I can stop it, but you get stuff like that. There's like newspaper clips, photos, maps, things about online, text messages, everything, because it is written as a script for a show. It is basically about a guy, his father died, and they never figure out who did it. And years later he decides to make a show with a producer and everything, and very professional people that had to do with crime stuff to figure out who actually killed his father. And this is literally the whole script. I think it is like 8 episodes. Yeah, 8 episodes. And this is basically the script. And the point of the book is you figuring out who did it while reading the script. And it is so good. I will say I did figure it out right. I knew, I had a hunch from the beginning who did it. I don't want to say who, but if you love crime stuff, this is gonna be your baby. This is gonna be so good. If you like figuring things out and stuff, this is a good book to read. It is good. And if you have read it, please let me know if you figured out who did it. I did make a TikTok about this book, so you can go ahead there and I'll talk more about what it was. Second one, which I kind of already showed. What is this one? It is The House in the Gerolin, I don't know how to say that, Sea by TJ Kuhn. First off, it is a gorgeous cover. Like, look at that, beautiful. This book broke me. I cried. It's not a sad book, it's just the ending made me cry. You do have some gay characters in this, and there is a bit of religion in this, so if you're not a big fan of those, or one of the two, I don't know if you will like it. But it is essentially about a guy called Linus, and he works in this magical company thingy. He's like a social worker. He visits orphans to make sure everything is right, and he's sent to this one right there on a cliff. He figures out that the son from the devil is there, called Lucy. He's supposed to be the end of the world, and he's just there like nothing, and this freaks him out a lot. And the whole book is basically him figuring out himself, figuring out how to be more free with his life, because it's very about the rules. And it's a beautiful story. And then you have the little connection between Linus and Arthur, which is the one in charge of the orphan, and it is a really beautiful story. Again, I did make a TikTok of this, so you can watch it and I talk more about it, but it is seriously a beautiful story. I cried at the end. It's not a sad one, but I did cry because the ending is adorable, and this is definitely like top favorite books that I have read last year, and it's not that long either, so highly recommend this one. Next ones, the next two are romance. I almost do another one, but I wanted to change it up. So this one is a romance. It is called The Blackshare, and it's by Beth O'Leary. I think that's how you say it. The cover is adorable, and I don't like pink, and I think it's adorable. I picked this up random, seriously. I just read the write. I was like, this looks cute, I'll get it, and I absolutely love it. It is about a girl that is finding out where to live, and she ends up living with Leon. She's called Tiffy. Yeah, she ends up living with Leon, which is a guy, and the whole thing is she works in the morning, he works in the night, so they will never meet because he's working at night, she's at the Blackshare, and when she leaves in the morning he goes back, so they will never meet. They end up communicating with post-its throughout the apartment, and one day they do end up meeting. The connection is like that, like so quickly, and it is so cute. I am so happy I actually picked this up. It was a very random purchase, but I fell in love with it. I thought it was adorable. It's your typical, we never see each other, we finally see each other, there's a connection, but I kinda don't like you, so keep my distance. I'm going through some weird shit, and we end up falling in love. It is your typical book, which it is very typical, but the way this person wrote it, it is quite adorable. So romance, if you love it, here's one. Another romance one, which I have actually seen very mixed things about this. It is sort of a series, but I have seen very mixed things about it. I like this. A co-worker of mine recommended this ones, and I got them when I went to Orlando to visit some family, and I got it in a Barnes & Noble there. And I'm very surprised that people get it missing, but again, nobody's gonna like the same book. Things change, so that is fine. I'm talking about this ones. The first one is It Happened in West Summer, and the other one is Hook, Line, and Sinker, and they're both by Tessa Bailey. They are about the sisters. This sister and the one here. This one is called Piper. She's your typical glam girl that falls in love with a very grumpy man. I love that trope. Absolutely love it. And this one is Hannah and Fox. What was he called? I don't remember the name properly. Brendan is how he's called. And this one is Fox and Hannah. And she's your typical very shy girl that has a dream but doesn't really know how to follow it, and he's a playboy. So again, this is the first one, and she has to go back to town because her parents sent her there because there's a place that is by her real father, I think it was, something like that. The point is she goes back to that place, she meets him, they fall in love. And then this one, it's her having to go back to that town for a movie, and she being in love with Fox, but he's a playboy, so people are like, are you sure about that? But she kind of doesn't want to believe that. So yeah, I like these books, okay? I think that they're very cheesy, they're your typical romance books, but I do really liked it. It was very fun. This book has more spicy stuff than this one, but they're both very fun, and I do really like them. This is the last one from the good books that I read on 2020, and again, it is a series. It is the Cannibal series. So there's 3 books on this. They're very heavy. They're very heavy. But the first one is Cannibal. It is the cover. I mean, look at it. The second one is Legendary, which again, look at the beautiful cover. And then Final, which is beautiful. This one is actually purple, which is really good. This is a fantasy series. Now this is technically the first fantasy series that I have read, and I absolutely love it. These were the books that got me into reading a little bit more fantasy. I feel like I don't have enough fantasy books. I wish I had a couple more, but these were the books that got me into fantasy and absolutely loving it. So essentially, by the way, these are by Stephanie Garber. I don't think I said it, but there it is. I read this a while back, so I don't fully remember the whole story or the names, and they're not telling me at the back. But maybe if I go inside, I think it's Scarlet. It's 2 sisters that are trying to get out of town, and there is this carnival that happens every year that is supposed to be very magical, and you're supposed to win a bunch of stuff, but the only way to get in there is by invitation, and they do end up getting one. They do end up getting there, and weird things happen. They figure out a lot of things about themselves, about how and why they feel so connected to the carnival. A lot of fantasy stuff, weird stuff. It is really good. I'm not making a good example of explaining this series, but if you like full-on fantasy, not like sprinkle fantasy, not like full-on fantasy, this is a good series. This is very hard to pick up, but this is a good series. It is full-on fantasy, weird things. You feel like you're literally in a carnival and you're with them, suffering everything that they're suffering, and it is really good. So if you are going to try and give a chance to fantasy, I feel like this is a good one to see if you actually like it. Maybe just get the first one, which is this one, and if you do end up liking it, then get the other 2. I would recommend this one if you really want to get into fantasy, because it is very, very good. Okay, so now we have 5 books slash series that I was an English fan of that I read. Now, these 2 that we're gonna start with are actually not a series, but they're the same person wrote it, so I'm counting it as one. It should be separate, but because it is wrote by the same person, I decided to count it as one. But it is The Counselor and The Legacies, and they're both by Jessica Gutman. It looks like that. I got this one first, didn't fully like it, but I said this is a very kind of oldish book that she wrote, so I decided to get this one, which is the new one. I think this came out last year, because I was like, hey, maybe her writing style changed or something, maybe because this is an oldie one, let's get a new one. And I didn't like it. I'm thinking I'm just not clicking with the way she writes, because this is absolutely stuff that I like. Crime, blood, people dying, betrayal things. I love books like this. I'm just thinking the writing style is what I'm not clicking with. But this one is about a summer camp. Somebody dies on it, and the girl is trying to figure out who did it. And my main problem with this book was that the ending did absolutely nothing. It has nothing to do with everything that was shown or made you read in the book. Absolutely nothing. Didn't even remember the person that were involved at the end. This one is about a secret club, and the only way you can get in is you're recommended by a rich person, And again, somebody died, and throughout the whole book you're figuring out who did it and why, and the people involved in all of it. Things I absolutely love. Crime is the reading style. This one has a lot of like chapters that are talking about the now, and then you jump to chapters that are talking about then, which is past stuff. I don't mind books like that as much, but the way this one was done, not a huge fan of. And then this one just talks up, you have these pages which are talking about after the whole ball that they were doing, and then you have other ones that are focused on a character specifically. Like this one is focused about Tori. I think there's like 3 or 4. Again, I usually don't mind books like that, but I just think it's the way that it was written that I wasn't a huge fan of. So I don't think I'll get another book from her because I think it's the writing style. But yeah, these two I really didn't like, so we're counting this as one. The other one is this one, How to Survive Your Murder by Danielle Valentine, I think. The cover, it was the cover that attracted me first, and then I read the back and I was like, oh, okay, again, this is crime, somebody died kind of a thing. I have a lot of books like that, I admit it, I like it. That's why I'm kind of trying to tiptoe into all that stuff, because I have way too many like this. But this one, if I don't remember, somebody died, or the main character died, and then she goes back in time, and then she's trying to survive her own murder. I think this one is again the writing style. I wasn't clicking with it. I don't have any book from this person. I don't know if there's more books that she has wrote. I'm not sure. I should look it up. I don't know if I should get another one, or if there's other books that are better than this one. I think it was just the writing style that didn't click on it. And again, the person at the end, that is the one that did everything, didn't make any sense. And I don't know, I read that and I was like, are you serious? And I just flip it, and I didn't like it. And also the writing style wasn't the greatest, so I don't know, I haven't really looked this one like the other one I did. Maybe I will and see, but so far I'm not interested in reading anything else from this person. So yeah, The Whisper Man by Alex North. I have never read a book that made me almost throw it across the room. It is so confusing, but at the same time very predicted. I don't fully remember the whole story again. And I don't think that's a good thing. Well, I have books that I absolutely love that I don't remember. I don't have the greatest mind, that's why. But if I don't remember, this one is about a father and his son moving to a town, and this town has something called Whisper Man, and it is a man that whispers in the windows of kids and take them with him. And that is what happened with the guy's son, and he's trying to like figure out who did it and stuff. It honestly is very predictable. I kind of knew halfway who that Whisper Man was, so there was nothing really that I was like, oh my god, really? Like nothing like that. It was very predictable to me. I think because I have read so many books like this, I might be getting good at that. But yeah, the writing style is not bad. I do know he has other books, I just don't know if I'm gonna pick another one from him. But this one, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'm gonna leave this series to the end. I'm gonna jump to this one. This is Verity, I think that's how you say it, by Colleen Hoover. Now I do know Colleen Hoover is a very popular author. However you say that. I do have another one from her that I absolutely love. Somebody got it from me. I don't remember, I think it was for St. Valentine's. I absolutely love that one. This one I loved, but the more I read books that are sort of like this, I kept thinking to myself, is this one actually good? Because the other ones were far better than this. It is about a woman that writes, that cannot write anymore, and the husband pays another girl to write for his wife, and weird things happening. She kept seeing the wife standing up and stuff, and it is that suspense thing of, is it the wife actually alive, or is it the wife just making everything up, stuff like that. So yeah, I did really liked it, but the more books I read like this, or that are kind of suspense kind of books, the more I was like, ugh. So I would still recommend it because it is a good read, but for me it definitely changed the more I read stuff like this. So that's mainly why it's here. I don't think it's a horrible book, but there's definitely better stuff out there. Now the last one. This is gonna piss some people off. Maybe. I will say before showing it, I read the first book and I absolutely loved it. I read the second one and I was like, okay, what direction is this taking? By the third one, I knew what they were going to do. Like, I knew what they were going to make the character do, and I wasn't a huge fan. So I just want to say it before I show it. And it's this one, okay? These are by Holly Jackson, and it is the whole A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. So you have this one, which is the first one, Good Girl, Bad Blood, this one, and the third one is As Good as Dead. Now, this one is Pip, I think is how the main character is called. Yeah, Pip. She, in the first one, is investigating a cold case that she ends up resolving for schoolwork, kind of a thing. The second one, she makes a podcast and she tries to help a friend, and she uses the podcast to do that. And by doing that, it just opens a whole nother world of everything that was happening in that town. And then in this one, she ends up killing a person and using all the knowledge to make it look like somebody else did it, together with her boyfriend. I didn't like that, and I knew after reading the second one, I was like, this is the direction that it's gonna take, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. I do have this one, I will show it, this one, which is Five Survive. This one I do like, I have it there, I do really enjoy it. So it's not her writing style, because I did like Five Survive. It's just this series, I didn't like what she did with the main character. That's the main thing. This one, the first one, absolutely love. I would have wished it just stayed with this one, and this one didn't insist. But my main complaint is I didn't like what she did with the main character. Wasn't a huge fan of it. Makes sense because, you know, she was doing all this stuff and learning all this stuff. It makes sense that she did what she did, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. So yeah, that's why this is on this pile. I do know a lot of people like this, and I'm aware this might piss people off, but for me, I have read better stuff like this. Again, wish I loved this one and done, but yeah, as a whole series, seeing it as that, like a whole thing, wasn't a huge fan of. Read better stuff than this, so that's why it is on this list. It's not horrible, but it's just the ending that I really didn't like. Okay. The lighting is in the background, so you will see my silhouette. Oh my god. Some that I already talked about. There. This one is also really good. Small Town, Big Magic. Now, it is part of a series though. I don't have, there's 3 books. One is already out. The third one is coming out this year, and I think the fourth one next year. I still have to get the second one, but I absolutely love this. This one is another one that I love. Has mixed reviews, Make My Library, but I do really like. This one is very confusing, but it's pretty good. See, I do have this one. Do like it. Absolutely love Ali Hazelwood. Didn't put it in my good ones because otherwise, again, everything will be romance. But I love to read. Absolutely love it. And I do have Checkmate, which I cannot wait to read. This one, classic, the one that got me to reading again. Absolutely love it. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Oh, this one I didn't really like. It's very confusing at some point, and I wasn't a huge fan of. So this one is absolutely long. It is like 1,000 pages, and just to show it very quickly, the letters are so small. Like, you cannot see it on camera, but they're very small. But it is so good. It took me a while to read, but good. If you like horror suspense stuff, this is actually really good. These are all the ones that I have read. They're in like a horrible order. Those are the books, the 5 ones that I liked and the 5 ones that I didn't. If you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments below. I have way too many in the piles of reading, but I'm always looking for books. I don't know. I still get more as if I have more space for them. But yeah, if you have any recommendations, I am open to pretty much everything. Fantasy, romance, suspense, horror. I have a bit of everything essentially, so you can recommend anything. I'll look it up and see if it interested me in reading it or not. So still hope you like this video. Different, doesn't have anything to do with music or K-pop, but kind of still wanted to do it. So I don't know if I'm gonna do more book stuff. I'm doing it more on TikTok, because like I said, TikTok is like my spam account. I basically talk about anything there, very random stuff. That's what my TikTok is. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing great. Take care of yourselves, and I will see y'all on my